Hey, I'm Al McGee with your entertainment ticket at www.yeticket.com. Hey, I'm here with my buddy Steve Leibowitz. What outlets you with, Steve?
I can still be, my review still can be read at screenqueen.com. I am the movie knight.
All right, great. Well, tonight we're going to talk about Disney Plus production of Hamilton.
Oh,
Hamilton is a Broadway musical that won about, I don't know, 11, 12 Tony Awards at the time when it was up for awards. But now the talk is how many Emmys it will win. That's the talk right now because many people say, well, it's a film. Maybe could it be considered a movie? They said, no, it's a television show.
No, they shut down. There's no Oscar talk for it whatsoever. It would have to be like made into a Hamilton movie, like how they do it, like Into the Woods and all the real movie, not off Broadway. So it can't be. There's no Oscar talk for it all, but just Emmy stuff.
Oh, yeah, right. Just Emmy stuff, which is still very good for that because it isn't a movie. All right, so what's your opinion of Hamilton on Disney Plus?
Well, for those who don't know, they recorded this on a 3-day period back in 2016. 2 nights were in front of a live audience, and 1 night there was no audience, but it gave the chance for to put the camera on the stage so they can get some good close-ups of the actors. So there's a lot of cutting in, so help you sort of bring you into the experience. And then it's gives you the best seat in the house. But I enjoyed it, Al. But no matter how much I liked it, I still felt the disconnect. There's still nothing to substitute for being at a live theater.
Yeah. Well, I understand where you're coming from, but I did not feel that disconnect. In fact, I felt much more closer to the musical. I have seen it live.
Yeah, you have seen it live. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I saw it live a few times, but I feel the way they filmed it and the way that they showed it on Disney Plus, I thought it was very good. And again, I really felt that it was a live play that I was watching because I can see the actors, I can see the choreography, but not only that, I can really listen to the lyrics.
Well, funny thing, I watched it with my mom, and sometimes we had a hard time hearing the lyrics. I'd have thought if we were there live.
I don't know what kind of sound system you got, but you know what I got. I got a Bose sound system, so I don't know if you just listen to it just from a television speaker.
Or worse, a computer speaker.
Oh my goodness! Oh,
so that could have factored in.
Okay, there you go. But next time, next time try do subtitles. I looked at it twice. Then the third time I looked at it with subtitles. Man, that really gave it much more impact, much more oomph to understand the lyrics and to understand the storyline.
Did the subtitles keep up with the words? Because sometimes those words
come with the words. Yeah, well, it wasn't really like that. It wasn't that fast. It was very good. You can see all the words to the lyrics, and also to the other vocabulary that the characters were talking about.
Okay. I mean, I really enjoyed the show. I love the cast. I know some people, but the people you don't care about, have opinion of how they're cast. But those people who don't like because of the race, those people can go themselves, So, but I thought everyone in the cast was great. I thought the choreography, which you just mentioned, was fantastic. I can see what all the hype was about.
Oh yeah, not only that, again, this is with the original cast, and they won Tonys too. For example, Leslie Odom Jr. He won for Best Actor, the best theater award that you can ever get, the Tony, and but you can see why, because the work he put into that role, and I got a chance to interview him a little bit and talk about it just a little bit, but he and many other cast members, they had to find their own way to create those characters that Lin-Manuel he wrote And because, Lin-Manuel didn't say, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, they had to create a lot of that for themselves to make the story believable.
Right. I actually heard a guy who plays King George in it actually had left the show but came back to specially do this taping. And he's like his like it's funny because he's the only one who doesn't really do rapping because his character's so different in the way they're sort of like he's almost like the comic relief a lot when he comes out. His numbers are always he's great in the way he just sort of walks on stage and gives you that look. I thought why is his name escaping me? But he was fantastic too.
Oh yeah, and also that role too as King George III, it really explained a whole lot about King George and England because he talked about how expensive it was to have that war with the United States and how that he couldn't understand why you want to leave me and why you want to leave England and things like that. But when he came on, he did have some sort of comic relief in the musical because it wasn't a lot of comedy in this musical at all.
No. I mean, really, most of the funny scenes. I mean, there's some little things here and there, but mostly, King George provides most of the laughs. Otherwise, it's pretty like a straightforward, serious show, but you're still involved in it. And so, if you want to laugh, one thing I did, I waited 2 years to listen to this. 2 years ago, Weird Al Yankovic did a polka of Hamilton songs, and I didn't listen to it.
Polka of Hamilton songs?
Yes. It's a 5-minute song thing. It just goes through almost all the songs in polka form, and if you haven't heard it before, it's fantastic. I suggest you take a listen to it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to check it out. But also, let's talk about the acting of Lin-Manuel himself. Him as Hamilton, as Alexander Hamilton. What do you think about his acting in this musical?
Did he win the Tony? I mean, he was great. He really embraced the role. He talks about, he has a son in it who, things happen to the son. And so, there's an emotional core to it, and he brings that emotion too. He's not stoic. He actually brings the emotion out, which is very important. He's not just someone who's just singing the words and just going with it. But if people don't know, it's sort of like a little bit in the tradition of Andrew Lloyd Webber. Pretty much the entire thing is a musical from start to finish. So and it's hard sometimes to act and sing at the same time, and Lin-Manuel and the rest of the cast, do it brilliantly.
Oh yeah, he really did it brilliantly. And one reason I felt that he really did it brilliantly because he understood the character. Yes, he did write this, but he understood the character. He understood Alexander Hamilton, a guy who was an immigrant, which he mentions in some of the lyrics in there, a guy who was all alone when he got to New York. And he knew that in New York, you would be a brand new man coming from where you're coming from. And, let me tell you the story. Did you see the story of how he discovered Hamilton? Well, he was going on vacation, and a friend of his just gave him a book to read. They gave him a couple of books to read, but he gave him this Hamilton book. So while he was on vacation, he read it. He said, wow, this is a fascinating guy. But he was like you and maybe me. I know for myself, I never studied Hamilton in school or anything like that. They probably glossed over him, not like they did George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and Thomas Jefferson as much. But, Hamilton was barely mentioned in any of the schools that I attended, when I was a young man, when I was going to school. But he discovered all this about Hamilton.
Right. He actually, he did this thing still. I remember I sort of caught up on a lot of Hamilton stuff after I saw the show. And he got the opening number of Hamilton, which is, sung by Burr. Before the show came to Broadway, he wrote that song first and performed it for Obama at the White House.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. That was amazing. And people looked at it and said, wow. I saw the president. They was amazed about what he said and what he did with that song that he did at the White House for one of the best presidents we ever had.
Yeah.
Now, another character, Thomas Jefferson, I felt Daveed Diggs did a great job with Hamilton. Not only that, with Lafayette, because I feel that that was something new for me too. I didn't realize that the French really helped him during the Revolutionary War. And one of the main people were Lafayette. Again, Daveed Diggs really brought that character to life. He played two roles. He also played the other president too in his role also. And I felt that as Thomas Jefferson, he brought a lot of life to that role, Thomas Jefferson and Lafayette.
Yes, no, actually, I knew the French part. I remember learning about that on Schoolhouse Rock when I was a kid. That during the Revolutionary War, I remember they mentioned the French came in, so that's how I knew about the French helping out. But I challenge you to find like a weak actor in the show.
Oh yeah, even the small roles. Many actors play many different parts in this show. But I love the set. I love how it was just a minimalist set, but it felt like a huge set. And especially the way the dancers and the actors put pieces together as they were moving about on the set.
Right, and also there's like a circular rotating stage in the middle.
Yep.
And a lot of times
it had two parts.
And yes, the action and the choreography, work. They use that to their advantage. It's really, whoever designed this stage, that was a great extra piece to have. I think, if they said, hey, we just have a solid stage, nothing moves, while I'm sure it'd still be a great show, it'd be weaker without it.
Exactly. Well, we can talk about this for hours, but my main point is this. I'm glad Disney paid the $75 million to put this on, especially at this time right now. But like I said, I've seen it live a few times myself, and every time I enjoyed it, I always play the soundtrack. So, well, I don't think we can rate it, but is it one of the best that you've seen, or in the middle of the road?
If you're going to put it in the context of film, and judging by our, since we are in YE ticket, we're going to go by palm trees. And I still felt, while I did love it, I still felt, if I saw it live in a theater, that's still the best way to experience it. So I'm only going to go with 3.5 palm trees. I can't go all 4.
You know me, 4.
Yeah, I gotcha.
4.
Listen, a 4 to 3.5. That doesn't suck, Al.
I know, right? And you don't suck either, my brother, because I understand where you're coming from. Definitely. Hey, Steve, thanks for taking the time to come and talk about Hamilton.
My pleasure,
Al McGee, your entertainment ticket. And also, I'm glad you saw Hamilton. And tell your wonderful mother I said hello, because she saw it with you.
I certainly did.
And we'll do this again, right?
I had a great time. I always love to come on. We used to do these together, and hopefully we can again one day.
All right, my brother. I'll talk to you later. And this is Al McGee. Hey, thanks for watching our video about the discussion of Hamilton. You know what? We really appreciate it. Thank you.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest movie.